on, my friend, Will
Yeah.
Fiske.
I'm looking forward to this. I love your vibe. I love your shit. So,
Dude, you're the man. Dude, I'm so stoked to have you
yeah,
on.
man, absolutely. Let's get to talking.
Get to talking about trees,
Fuck
finally. Yeah. Dude, so where are you from? What's your favorite tree? What got you into forestry, especially?
All right. Well, I'm from Easton, Massachusetts, which is like 30, 35 minutes south of Boston.
Easton, like you got an accent, like I'm from Easton, Mass, or is it like Easton, the town name?
I don't have a real accent. I can always put on a fake Boston accent, a fake good one, and I have a fucking fake shitty one. I love to fucking mess around because Boston's, it's near and dear to my heart. Even though I think it's a terrible city, I fucking love it. But my favorite tree is the American sycamore. We got a fucking shit ton of huge ones planted down in my hometown, like 6 feet in diameter, which are just insane. Their crown spreads fucking
huge,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then what really got me into forestry, I'd say the first time I was ever enchanted by nature was when I was like 9 years old. I was on a cross country trip with my family, and it was the halfway point. We were out in the Redwoods and Muir Woods, north of the Bay Area.
John Muir.
Yep, you know it. And it was just, we were just driving through the forest, just among the giants. You just like, your car feels so tiny. There's houses out there. People live out there. And I'm just like, this is so enchanting. Like, this is just incredible. I love trees. Like, this is
dude, especially out west when the trees are just, it's
like everything on steroids. Like,
right, exactly.
It's a totally different vibe out there.
When you're from the East Coast, you don't even realize, and especially I'm growing up in Maine, how big white pines are.
Yeah.
Then you go to the South and you're like, whoa, white pines are huge. And then you go out west and you think everything is teeny.
Fuck, yeah.
Exactly.
Like the tallest tree in the East is like a tulip poplar, which is like 192 or 3 feet down one of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
It's like, there's like 15 to 20 species out west that regularly grow to over 200 feet.
Easily, yeah. Grand fir, yeah, you can name.
Fucking, there's so many. Like,
exactly.
It's absurd.
It is cool, dude. Out west as a whole, it's like, it's almost like since, America and like North America wasn't colonized like Europe was, like, so for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And the East Coast seems like it is pretty colonized, like way more people. But out west, there's still so much untouched, undeveloped land. There's still enough like room for nature to breathe. Almost.
It's just like you said, it's just a whole different breed out there, man. Like, I still haven't been to the Pacific Northwest. That's like at the top of my bucket list. Alaska, like, I just want to get up there.
Oh, Alaska, yeah.
Fucking, see the Sitka spruces and fucking all sorts of different shit.
That's a whole nother country, Alaska. It really is.
The last frontier, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, just the amount of wildlife too. Just like, you think we have it good here. I mean, but it's like you go anywhere and it's fucking, you're gonna see grizzlies, fucking moose, fucking
right,
everything out there.
And it's really barren.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah. that's cool, dude. It is really cool. I'd love to go to Alaska. I got a fake ID from Alaska. Ever tell you that?
No.
Yeah, last year we were ordering fake IDs, me and my sister and everything. And everyone's like, I'll get mine from Washington. She's like, Connecticut, I was like, I was thinking of McLovin. And I was like, I could get it from like Hawaii, Dominican Republic. And then I was like, no, what? We're going with Alaska, And I was thinking, like, no one's ever seen an Alaskan ID. Like, they're not going to think I'm not 21. They're going to think, what even? They've never seen one. You know what I mean? They're like, this is cool, I'm from Alaska. Yeah, so I never got it scanned or taken or nothing.
Amazing.
But
I never got a fake. I just turned 21 a few months ago, so
yeah,
I'm chilling now.
I basically I got a fake 6 months before I turned 21.
Yeah,
but it was fun. It's fun
to
go and like con people a little bit. Like, oh, I'm from Fairbanks.
Just the tension every single time too. Put you on edge. Some people fucking crave that.
Yeah, a little adrenaline, dude. You know it. Yeah, dude. That would get a couple of gas station people like, oh yeah, I've been up there. Where are you from in Fairbanks? And I'm like, near the fisheries.
And my roommate, he fucking had both of his fakes taken within the span of a year. Fucking felt so bad for him.
That is a bummer, dude. Dude, fake IDs are getting harder and harder to fake now.
I know.
Think about back in the day, you could You could literally be
So
13.
easy.
Yeah. You could be 13 and be like,
I
oh
mean,
yeah,
drinking age was only 18 anyways, so back until
true, yeah,
79, so
true.
or 78.
Did you hear that like when they changed the law to 18 to 21, not all states like agreed, like
Yeah.
Florida and stuff was like, nah, we're gonna keep it 18. They're like, okay, we're not gonna pay for your roads. And they're like, okay.
Shit.
And then they just had like they went like whatever 5 or 10 years. The roads just got terrible. They're like, okay, we're gonna we need to update. We gotta update the roads. We'll update it to 21 now,
They switched it when my mom was 18, so she was able to drink for a year, and then
Yeah.
she had to wait 2 years.
Oh, that
'Cause
is a
It
pain.
was like right when she was in between 18 and 21
Yeah.
is when they switched it. So she was like, "This is fucking bullshit. I was drinking for a year, and now I can't drink for 2."
Yeah. Dude, well, I mean, me and you got the same thing with cigarettes, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We could buy
Oh,
cigarettes until we were 19.
Mass was always stricter on tobacco, though. I mean, Charlie Baker hit us with the vape ban, and it was just like, oh, it was fucking brutal. Because I've been addicted to nicotine since I was like 15.
Yeah,
it's been a vice for me for a long time.
It's a tough one. You can't shake. I mean,
we've all got our vices.
Exactly. No doubt.
Some worse than others.
Nicotine is quite normal. I will.
Exactly.
It's not.
That's the thing. Like I've been able to quit before, but it's just I've gone 3, 4, 5 months without it. But it's just anytime I go to a social setting and see people using it, I'm just like, fuck it.
True. That's one thing that you can't categorize. You can kind of categorize stoners and cokeheads or whatever. People smoking cigarettes, that could be anybody. It's kind of like alcoholics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be anybody. Could be literally anybody, and that could get you.
Because it's so socially acceptable.
Yeah.
It's like one of the few drugs, caffeine, tobacco, nicotine, caffeine,
Caffeine,
tobacco,
yeah.
alcohol. Nicotine's the same fucking thing. But it's just like those are always considered more. You can be addicted to that. That's okay. Like as long as it's in moderation.
Yeah, it's weird, and
weed's always been a little bit more taboo. People are obviously now opening up to it a lot more.
Well, have you heard the conspiracy why weed was illegal? Not the conspiracy, but why weed's been illegal, and they figured out how to make hemp.
Well, yeah, it was the fucking
paper mills.
Paper, yeah.
We'll say it for the people who don't know. So like the paper mills, Great Northern Paper, basically were from Maine. Like we could talk about this. Probably people from Maine, literally making weed illegal. But in the 30s, when they figured out you can make paper with hemp, and the turnaround was so much cheaper. You could do it in a year, and you could use the full product. And I mean, dude, you could make plastic with hemp
so much faster than fucking trees.
A lot faster than trees, yeah. So they did a lot of campaigning so that wouldn't happen, so the paper mills would stay open. And that was right when, paper mills, they started spending money on paper mills, like millions and millions and millions of dollars, especially in Maine and across the US, but especially in Maine where they, turn of the century.
Yeah.
Now they're really starting to push out pulp and paper up north with softwoods.
And it's crazy looking at the businesses up here now. I mean, so much of Maine is privately owned. Fucking Irving owns like fucking more land than vertically integrated companies.
More than probably all of Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's absurd how much land they have. And granted, I'm not saying they're doing only shitty things. Like, they are planting more trees than they're cutting, and they have some like good fucking policies on like sustainability and whatnot, but they're still very industrial. And like very fucking, there's a lot of worker turnover rate. You just like, we were torn at this fucking January at a winter camp, and just get the vibe there was just off. At
Irving.
Yeah.
Were you went to Ashland?
Yeah, we went to Ashland.
Yeah. Dude, that is cool. That is cool. But a lot of people, this is a conversation I've had with quite a bit of people, actually, especially the kids from across the hall. They're from Aroostook County, and they say Irving owns everything.
Yep.
And they spray and spray and spray and spray, and they'll just get fined. But Irving's so big that they'll just pay the fines.
Exactly.
They don't care. They'll spray for spruce budworm and put chemicals all over their whole property, but they don't care. They'll eat the fines. It's better than losing their whole crop. But it makes sense. I mean, it's
economically, absolutely.
Yeah. And spraying really isn't that crazy. If you think about it, they're using BT, which is the same chemical as you would be using for plenty of species.
Oh, worse. I mean, there's just
Yeah,
we're fucking surrounded by chemicals and microplastics and fucking shit. Like,
right.
this place is already so dirty. Like, you know, like
I know, it's
and we
weird.
still have some of the best air quality in the entire fucking country, which is
Maine?
yeah, Maine, Vermont, like northern New England's great
Yeah.
for fucking air quality. Like, not really right around here because, you know, we got fucking great works and all
Yeah,
that.
no doubt,
But,
no.
you know, if you go 30 minutes any direction, it's fucking good air.
Yeah, got some good air.
Yeah.
Got to get a hit of that good air. Dude, that's one thing we were talking about in a podcast or two ago. We were saying, like, somebody was just trashing on America a little bit. And I was thinking, I was like, this is one thing I love about America and Canada and all the countries in North America. I mean, Mexico and Texas and Florida have different ideas of what clean air and clean
Yeah.
water is. But for the most part, I mean, like, dude, a lot of other countries don't give a shit about clean water and clean air and like the clean resources around them, clean forestry, you know, like say, for example, they'll be pumping, you know, factories and there's no regulation on what they're pumping into the air or this or that or anything. It's like, dude, I'm so glad to be from a place where we actually care about what our environment is a little bit, you
A
know?
little bit.
And I mean,
Depends
a
on
lot,
the branch of government.
yeah, but a lot more than a lot of other countries. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
think about, we might be behind some countries in Europe and maybe Canada, but dude, where are America and Europe are this both a continent? When I think about it, I don't know. They're not really, but if you think about America as the states, as like Europe with the countries a little bit, no?
I can see the comparison.
Yeah, a little bit here and there. I mean, for the most part, Scandinavia
Yeah.
would just be Canada.
So what's your favorite tree?
Dude, I don't know. I'm a Maine boy, so I got to say Eastern white pine.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was the only tree I knew how to identify before I took forest vegetation. Like,
But yeah, probably me too.
because like that's the only conifer we have a shit ton of in Mass. Like, we have some scattered hemlock, and we have good amount of pitch pine, especially on the Cape.
Yeah.
But red pine, you know, it's mostly planted and it's kind of scattered. Definitely no jack pine. All the cedars are planted. We have a little bit of red spruce and balsam fir, but that's more out west.
Do you have a cedar forests?
We have Atlantic white cedar. Yeah, we have
Okay,
a lot.
yeah.
We have a lot of swamp land nearby, so it's like the Hockomock Swamp, the Bridgewater Triangle, fucking fake ass swamp monster shit, fucking lore from my hometown. But yeah, that's an Atlantic white cedar bog, which is really fucking sick.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
awesome, dude. So I wanted to ask you what's your favorite adaptation for a tree. We were talking about a white pine before because we saw a some like resin coming out of it because of a neonectaria fungus, and what that does is basically just make a hole in the tree and it lets out a bunch of resin. And what the resin is basically, for the people who are listening, the resin is sticky, so insects can't attack the tree. If they were to attack the tree, they'd just get stuck. But on other trees, say for example beech or hardwoods that don't have that sap, insects can, or beetles can penetrate the bark, go right through it. It's a lot easier.
Gotcha.
So like a defense mechanism in a tree.
Yeah.
Can you think of any cool ones?
I mean, not necessarily. I'm just thinking of not necessarily defense mechanism, but serotiny is always fucking
Serotiny is so cool.
fucking cool.
Yeah,
Like,
ponderosa pine with a fire-resistant bark.
Yeah, and it's like even around here we've got fucking jack pine, you know, and it's like if you go down to MDI, we got pitch pine, which can be semi-serotinous. It's
Mhm.
like just so cool that a tree is dependent on fire. Like, you know, jack pine cones don't open unless it reaches extreme temperatures of like, you know, 100 plus, and it's like, you know, it's just the fact that it's dependent on a fire to come through, and then all the fucking vegetation's killed, and the seeds can just fucking take over.
Beautiful.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
And it's a shit because like out west, there's so many fire dependent species, you know, like you said, the ponderosa pine, sequoia, redwoods. And it's like for a fucking century, we were blatantly mismanaging forest fires and just putting them all out and not, you know,
Right.
allowing all these fucking ladder fuels to develop with these skinny, scraggly fucking tall trees that just act as fucking fuel for the bigger
Fuels,
trees.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just fucking so many fucking bad decisions that have just led to our forest fire problems today out there.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of bad decisions that have gone into mismanaging our forests, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of just we're oblivious. We don't know
Absolutely.
what
It's
we're
such
doing.
a complex, like,
Yeah, we still don't understand it. We still, I
Like-
mean, it's gonna be a long time till we fully understand every working aspect of a forest ecosystem.
yeah.
Like that, it really is crazy to think about that. There are so many things that have to come together.
There's something going on in every fucking area, you know, from the tippity tops of the crowns of the trees to the fucking 20 feet below soil, you know, everything, like
exactly
from the root system up. It's like
a marketplace. The soil is like a marketplace for like micronutrients and plants, like being like,
Yeah.
yo, I'll give you some this, and you know.
it's just you know, you can just get lost in it. I love watching documentaries on it on YouTube because there's a great channel, New England Forests. They got like Tom Wessels is on there, Bob Levitt, Al Everett. There's just a bunch of like local foresters from New England.
I'll look it up. Yeah,
talk about, you know, they have like 45-minute documentaries on just like white pine in the on the Mohawk Trail out in Central Mass, like where the tallest white pine in Mass is. It's like 163 feet. They've got Tom Wessels is great because he talks about reading the forest landscape. He calls it forest forensics, because it's like he's looking at the history of forests by just evidence left behind of like whether it's tree scars or
dendrochronology.
Yeah, just, you know, stumps and just when they were logged, you know, looking at certain areas when a disturbance happened and dating it back, just all this kind of stuff, just by reading the forest and looking at, you know, the trees and the root systems and everything.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And he can just be like, yeah, there were definitely chestnut growing here about 130 years ago that were probably, you know, like could have been 4 or 5 feet in diameter. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, you can tell just by this.
Yeah, it's like he's just like, yeah, there's definitely stump evidence of chestnuts here that were probably logged right after the blight was found. And it's just like, you know,
that is cool, dude. That's one thing. Let's talk about chestnuts.
Probably another one of my favorite trees, just because one of my dreams is, you know, when I'm like 80, 85 years old, that like chestnuts will return to our forests as
like we make a resistant species.
I mean, we're making insane progress. Like, it's kind of fascinating, but I mean, we still got a ways to go because, you know, 4 billion trees died. It was like one of the worst ecological disasters in human history.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, what we have to do is we're breeding our chestnut, which is what I think it's 80 feet tall and up to 6 feet in DBH, or 6, huge
around here, but like down fucking like in Appalachia, it could get like 10 feet, which is just like there's old
insane.
Pictures, like, it looked, they were the redwoods of the east. Like,
up here they weren't as big, but
and they were so much more prominent down there. Like there were parts of like Kentucky that had like 1 in every 2 trees were chestnuts.
Exactly.
Like, which is just absurd to think about.
Totally. But what we're trying to do is genetically breed it with the Chinese chestnut, which is teeny, which is like
very tiny
pole-sized tree. So that's kind of,
but that's the fucking tree the blight grew up with. So it's, you know, for fucking thousands of years, which is why it's so much more resistant.
Right.
So yeah, we breed like a 16th of that with 15/16 American. So it's not, but there's also I forget the exact, there was a college that did something with the DNA, and it was a totally different fucking approach, but they were able to genetically modify and create a more blight resistant chestnut.
Oh, that's cool.
Using American chestnut DNA.
Yeah, dude, chestnut's cool. So let's give the rundown on how it got to America. Why did this chestnut blight get to America and take out all these chestnuts?
It was the early 1900s.
Turn of the century.
There was some ornamentals coming over from either Asia or
Europe, China.
Yeah, Asia, yep. And came into New York City.
Similar to COVID.
Yeah. And they were planted at the Bronx Zoo. And